overall results at ESL Katowice, or however you say it, that was, honestly, it was quite a disappointment. I think going into the tournament, I felt like we had a decent grasp on the meta and kind of our play style, and I thought that we could do much better than we did. Losing to OG in our first match on stage was a bit disappointing because we have kind of beaten them in previous tournaments and qualifiers. Honestly, a couple of times now, and I felt like we were the better team, or at least, you know, we could be the better team, but not that day, unfortunately.
I'd say our performance was kind of up and down in the Katowice tournament. I think we've had some quite strong performances, and then some rather weak ones in the next games, which kind of is displayed by the many draws we had in the group stage, for example.
What could have been done to maybe make us do better? It's tough to say. I think that we are a team that really needs to, I think that when we practice, we perform very, very well. However, I think that on high pressure situations and on the big stage, I think we struggle. So hopefully just that experience will help us perform better at bigger and better tournaments. And honestly, all these ESLs, you know, they're kind of like warm-up events for the DPC events, the Dota Majors, the minors, as well as the international.
We're currently in the NiP Bootcamp in Sweden, practicing for the major. Before that, we were at home resting a bit and playing an online tournament.
Since ESL, I went back home to America, actually, for a week. And then I flew directly here into Copenhagen and then trained up to Landskrona, where we started our boot camp. And we're doing like a 5-6 day boot camp before we head up to Stockholm. Obviously, we've been practicing a lot. We came straight from, we did a boot camp before ESL, and then we went into ESL, and there's been a couple of small minor patches that have changed the meta, but nothing too drastic.
I wouldn't say we have any drastic changes. It's more like it's like adapting to the current patch. Some heroes that got buffed in recent patch we will be playing that we haven't played before, something along those lines.
I think that this meta actually does suit us quite well, and I do think that we could have our best result to date. Pretty hard to top that top 4 at the first major, but that was with the stand-in. We didn't have 3-3, we had MC from Team Liquid. And so a lot of people look at us as kind of this team that got lucky because we had this stand-in, and hopefully we can, you know, put up a nice, respectable result. What we really need is like a top 8 finish. Top 6 would be super ideal, and that will probably lock our spot in for TI, which is, you know, like I talked about, it's literally just the goal of all of these events throughout the year is qualifying to this $25 million tournament at the end, and you go to that tournament and you hope that you do well.
I'd say it's a very focused atmosphere right now. We're just all kind of here practicing, not doing much else.
Things have changed a little bit for us. I think that one of the biggest things that we identified is that 3-3 Neta is more like a carry player than an offlane player, and as a result we're probably going to have him playing more farm heavy heroes, and hopefully he will feel more comfortable on these heroes and be able to perform better.
My mindset personally is just to try our best, kind of see what happens. I think we are currently still preparing to be up to par with the current meta and all that stuff.
At the beginning of the year, you always hear these small leaks about where the big tournaments are going to be, and sometimes they're right and sometimes they're wrong. And Stockholm was, honestly, I think that some other event got canceled and DreamLeague just stepped up to the plate and picked up the Stockholm Major. And now that like I'm on NiP, we're kind of based in Stockholm. I have an apartment and I live in Stockholm. It's super convenient. I've never lived in a city and been able to, you know, take a cab or take the train to the LAN. So this will be really nice. I'm actually going to spend a day at home after our boot camp, and maybe even like during the event when we have an off day, you know, maybe I'll go back to my apartment for a day and kind of get that home feeling. know there's a lot of people out there, even NiP fans and not NiP fans, that might see this video and they look at NiP with a little bit of doubt, and I think that doubt is justified. Dota is an incredibly competitive and difficult game, and we are constantly practicing all the time. Like we play all the time, and we're always trying to do whatever we think is best to help us perform better. So I appreciate everybody for sticking with us, for being fans, and honestly, I just, big shout out to all the people who watch Dota. I don't really mind if people don't like our team, as long as they watch our games and these big tournaments are still able to happen. That's what makes me happy.
As always, thank you for supporting, thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoy the games.